So that's what happens to you, right? Then you run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman, and he has badass women like me defending him. Mm-hmm. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not the way.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried.
And trying to signal Justin Baldoni's team, like, look, we have nothing to do with this. We're not friends with her anymore. We don't even like her. We don't even know her. We can't believe she said this. They were running articles. She feels used. She feels abused. They claimed to TMZ in one article that she only met Justin once and it was briefly. And essentially she was startled because the meeting was supposed to be over at Blake's apartment.
I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone.
Non-legal expertise, as I have said from the very beginning, smartest possible move for Justin Baldoni's team to make. I've said depose her. I wasn't sure they were going to do it because Brian Friedman was asked about it by Harvey Levin on TMZ, and he said, well, we don't know. We'll see which way this case goes. And I'm going, what do you mean you don't know? That would be like the very first thing I would do. I would depose Taylor Swift against Blake Lively because first and foremost, no matter how you feel about Taylor Swift, you have to recognize and respect the fact.
Justin Baldoni, he has fought back yet again. He filed a lawsuit against the New York Times, which he had Brian Friedman on to discuss, saying it had done a defamatory report on Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence. In that claim, they said the Times distorted the truth. They did not report text messages which were full and complete, which showed a very different meaning than the snippets that Blake Lively put in her complaint.
Respect to them for the speed at which her marketing team moves. Dropped an entire article in the press announcing that her and Blake are taking a break. They're no longer friends because, shocking, Taylor Swift feels used. She always feels used. And she wants nothing to do with the Justin Baldoni situation. Is she being used, or are people starting to jump into lifeboats because Ryan and Blake's Titanic, the ship that not even God could sink, is sinking? It's going down because God is God. Okay.
I told them that I wasn't in the best place. I told them that I was exhausted, that I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal. I had an intense year, a lot of material success, and a lot of emotional stress. It's very hard on me.
What began as a routine legal battle over It Ends With Us has spiraled into one of Hollywood's most explosive scandals in years. At first, the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni lawsuit looked like a straightforward clash of contracts and creative control. But behind the courtroom filings, whispers of something darker began to surface. Rumors of hidden evidence, secret meetings, and a relationship that was never meant to see the light of day. Then came Megyn Kelly. With her trademark smirk and cutthroat delivery, she asked the question no one else dared. What if this lawsuit isn't really about money or power? What if Blake Lively is fighting so hard to keep the case private because she's hiding something far more personal? Overnight, the story exploded. Blake Lively, Hollywood's golden girl, devoted wife to Ryan Reynolds, half of the industry's most admired couple, was suddenly at the center of an alleged affair with her co-star and director Justin Baldoni. What had seemed like baseless gossip turned into internet wildfire. Every detail of Blake's actions, her attempts to seal court documents, her urgency to keep proceedings private, looked less like legal defense and more like desperate damage control. The internet pounced. Twitter lit up with threads dissecting interviews, red carpet appearances, and behind-the-scenes clips. TikTok filled with dramatic voiceovers, slowed-down videos, and side-by-side comparisons of Blake's chemistry with Justin versus Ryan. YouTube creators churned out exposés with titles like The Secret Affair Hollywood Didn't Want You to Know. Fans became amateur detectives, zooming in on lingering glances, too familiar touches, and laughter that suddenly felt too intimate. And then the bombshell rumor, explicit recordings. Supposedly, tapes existed that could prove everything. Whether real or fabricated didn't matter. The possibility alone sent Hollywood into panic mode. If such evidence leaked, it wouldn't just end Blake's career. It could dismantle her carefully crafted image as the effortless, relatable, scandal-free star. For Ryan Reynolds, the fallout was unavoidable. For years, he had been the internet's favorite quick-witted husband, the man whose online banter with Blake made him seem untouchable. Now every post, every interview, every sarcastic joke was under scrutiny. Did he know? Had he always known? Was his silent strategy or denial? The longer he stayed quiet, the more theories multiplied. Brands began pulling back. Studios grew cautious. The lively Reynolds fairy tale brand, a cool, unproblematic couple in a town built on scandal, was cracking. And Justin Baldoni, caught in the middle, became either the villain who wrecked Hollywood's golden couple or the reluctant whistleblower exposing truths no one was meant to uncover. One thing is certain, this is no longer about a lawsuit. It's about survival. Blake is fighting to save her marriage and reputation. Ryan is struggling to control the narrative that once made him untouchable. Justin's future hangs on whether he's cast as manipulator or martyr. Hollywood loves a power couple, but it loves a downfall even more. And right now, the world is waiting for the next bombshell to drop.